Welcome to the Airbnb Superhost Secrets Podcast. We're here to help you go from hosting newbie to a five-star superhost.
So, whether you're just starting out or already hosting and hitting a few snags, we'll guide you.
Yeah, we're going to really dive deep into the psychology of a guest and figure out what they're looking for and give you some strategies to go above and beyond.
Okay, so imagine this. Your guest just flew in, they're exhausted, a little cranky, and now they're in the dark trying to find the key to the property. Not the best first impression, right?
Yeah. That's actually a pretty common pitfall for new hosts. You're thinking about security, maybe there's building restrictions, so you hide the key. But for the guest, it's just frustrating.
Exactly. So what's the Superhost secret?
Well,
Ditch those long written instructions and make a short video. Show them exactly where to go, how to get the key, and even give a quick tour of the entrance.
that's a great strategy. Way easier than instructions, especially for someone who's tired and just wants to get inside. Makes you look more professional, too. Okay, next up. Have you ever walked into an Airbnb and just been bombarded by signs like, don't touch this, be careful with that, instructions everywhere? It's kind of overwhelming, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I totally get why hosts do that. They want to avoid any issues, make sure things are used correctly, and prevent those calls from guests. But it doesn't feel very welcoming.
Right. It feels less like a home and more like a museum where you can't touch anything. So instead of all those signs, what if we did a digital welcome book? A nice PDF with all the important info, Wi-Fi, house rules, appliance instructions, even local recommendations.
Well, I like that. You can make it look good, organize it, even add photos. And here's a bonus tip. QR codes for those tricky appliances, like the coffee maker or washing machine. Just link them to video tutorials. Simple, efficient, and guests will think you've thought of everything.
Let's talk cleaning fees. Always a heated topic. As guests, there's nothing worse than paying a big cleaning fee and then being asked to strip the beds, load the dishwasher, basically clean the floors before you leave.
You're right. It feels like false advertising, right? You paid for cleaning, but you're still doing the work.
Yeah.
So let's think like a superhost. What are our options?
Okay. Option A, charge a cleaning fee and we do everything. Guests leave, our cleaning crew comes in. No stress for everyone.
Option B, build the cleaning cost into the nightly rate and ask guests to tidy up a little. Things like taking out the trash, washing dishes, maybe a quick sweep. But we make those expectations clear in the listing so there are no surprises.
Totally agree. Transparency is key. No one likes hidden tasks or feeling nickeled and dimed. Okay, rant time. Unreasonable rules. Have you seen those listings with more rules than a library? No shoes, no guests after 10 p.m., no using certain towels. It's like, relax.
It's the 1% problem you know. Hosts have had one bad experience, a party, or some damage, and they try to control everything. But it creates a hostile environment for the 99% of guests who are respectful.
So how do we balance protecting our property with creating a welcoming space?
Focus on the essentials. Clear, concise house rules that emphasize respect for the property and neighbors. And remember, trust goes a long way. Guests who feel trusted are more likely to treat your space with care.
Next up, the classic Airbnb versus reality situation. You see amazing photos online, book the place, and then walk in and it's way smaller, darker, just not as glamorous as the pictures.
Misleading photos are the worst. Guests feel tricked and let down, and then you get bad reviews online.
So honesty is the best policy. If there's something about your property, like maybe the street noise is bad, or the shower is small, just own it. Highlight the good parts and present anything less desirable, honestly.
Right. A guest who knows what to expect won't be disappointed. Transparency builds trust. And remember, sometimes those quirks are what give a place character.
Speaking of communication, we've all seen the two extremes. The host who blows up your phone from the moment you book, and then the ghost host who disappears.
It's a tough balance. You want to be helpful without being overwhelming and still be around if they need you.
So what's the Superhost solution? A short and sweet welcome email with all the important stuff. Check-in info, Wi-Fi password, house rules, then give the guests some space. Offer them extra resources, local tips, transport info, house manuals, and make it optional. Let them choose how much information they want.
Perfect. Guests feel supported but not smothered. You're prepared, but you also respect the independence. And speaking of feeling supported, let's talk about location. You could have the perfect Airbnb, but if it's in a bad area or far from everything, it's going to affect their experience.
Totally. I stayed in this one Airbnb, beautiful pictures online, but it was right next to a highway. I barely slept. It made me realize how important it is to be honest about the location.
Exactly. Don't try to hide the bad parts. Reframe them. Is it a bit further from the city center? Well, then highlight the peace and quiet, the amazing views you get because you're not in the middle of all the noise.
Yeah, turn a negative into a positive.
Exactly. Now let's move on to another important thing for guests. Essential amenities, the basics. Toilet paper, soap, towels, some coffee pods. It's crazy how many hosts forget these.
I know, right? You'd think they were obvious, but I've seen some bad stories online. Guests arrive, and there's no toilet paper, one tiny soap, not enough towels. That's a terrible start to a vacation.
I think some hosts think of these as extras, or they worry about guests using too much. But you're not running a cheap motel. You're providing an experience, and these little things are important.
It's about making it feel like home away from home. And who feels at home when they have to ration toilet paper?
Okay, now let's talk about something that guests really hate. A dirty Airbnb. Doesn't matter how nice the place looks, if the bathroom's dirty or there's dust everywhere, it ruins it.
This is where a professional cleaner is so important. I know it's an extra cost, but believe me, it's worth it. A clean Airbnb means happy guests and more bookings.
It's an investment. Think about it. Would you rather spend a bit more on cleaning or risk a bad review that scares everyone away?
Good point. Speaking of things that can go wrong, let's talk maintenance. Even in the best places, things break. A pipe bursts, the Wi-Fi goes down, an appliance stops working.
It's all about how you handle these things. A superhost sees these as a chance to really impress.
So what's the secret?
Well, first, communication. Let the guest know what's happening, explain what you're doing, and give them a realistic timeline. Second, don't just do a quick fix. If something needs replacing, replace it. It costs more now, but it'll save you trouble later.
And a little empathy goes a long way, right?
Absolutely. Acknowledge the inconvenience and maybe offer something nice, a discount, a bottle of wine, a late checkout.
Exactly. Turn a bad situation to a good one.
Speaking of delicate situations, let's talk refunds. No host likes giving them, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah, this is where it gets tricky. You need to protect yourself and your income while also being fair to the guest.
It's a tough balance.
The best thing is to have clear policies in place. Outline your refund terms in your listing and your house rules. Cover things like damages, cancellations, and emergencies.
And be flexible. Sometimes guests have to change their plans. If you're understanding, they're more likely to leave a good review even without a full refund. Right, it's about building that trust. Sometimes it's better to lose a little money and keep a happy guest than to argue over every dollar. They'll recommend you to others and might even come back again.
It really all comes down to treating others how you want to be treated. Think about when you've been a guest. What made you feel welcome? What made you think, ugh, really?
So true. Empathy is so important for being a superhost. Think about what it's like to travel. Those little things can make all the difference.
Okay, we've talked about a lot today, from checking in to cleaning fees to those expectations versus reality moments. But before we go, I want to talk about something that's often forgotten: the personal touch.
Yes, those little things that make a stay amazing.
What are some of your favorite ways to go above and beyond?
A handwritten welcome note always works. Just a few lines to say you're happy they're there, maybe mention something from their profile to show you've noticed them.
Like a little gift. I always keep those.
Yeah,
What about welcome baskets? Are those still a thing?
definitely. But not just any snacks. Think local, unique, something they'll like. Are they foodies? Then include some special treats from the area. Traveling with kids. Add some games or activities.
That's all about that personal touch, showing you care. Okay, last question. How do we keep learning and getting better as hosts? Things change so fast on Airbnb. How do we stay ahead?
Feedback. Don't just look at the good reviews. Really read what people say. What did they like? What could be better? And don't be afraid to ask for feedback directly. Just a message after they leave saying, "What could we have done to make your stay even better?" can give you great ideas.
It's like having a free consultant. And this isn't just about becoming a superhost. It's about building a business you're proud of, creating great experiences for people, and maybe even making some new friends along the way.
Exactly. It's where hospitality meets business.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Airbnb Superhost secrets, I want to leave you with this. What's one small thing you'll change this week to be a better host?
It could be anything. A new amenity, a better welcome message, or just reading your reviews. Remember, every guest is a chance to learn and grow, and to make their Airbnb experience amazing.
Thanks for joining us on the Airbnb Superhost Secrets podcast. We'll see you next time with more tips and tricks to help you become a hosting superstar. Until then,
Happy hosting.